I'm Laura Latimer. I am the host of the show. I'm also the founder of Nomadicare.com, a place that is full of resources for the travel healthcare worker to make sure the industry is more fair and transparent and puts the control in the healthcare workers' hands as they start their journey. As a traveler myself, who got very taken advantage of in the early days of me traveling, I am on a mission to transform this industry, and we are well on our way. This show is a place to learn, and my hope for this show is that you come here and you leave each episode feeling more confident and more empowered in yourself as you go into this really cool industry where we get paid to travel. I want you to have a spark of courage, to have better conversations with your recruiters and your companies, as well as some really cool conversations with yourself as you make decisions for your own career. So, thank you for joining me. I'm here to serve and help, and let's dive in. In this episode, we are going to be talking about bait and switch and job boards. Bait and switch meaning a tactic that travel healthcare staffing agencies have historically been known to do in order to lure in travel healthcare workers to talk to them. Our contact details, our name, specialty, phone number, email address, has a value to it. The value, depending on the source that the staffing agencies get that contact information from, can be worth a few dollars all the way up to hundreds of dollars. We are valuable. The fact that we're healthcare workers with a degree and a license and a desire to go travel makes just those details worth something. So travel agencies are always trying to find ways to get those details from us. And one of the ways they do this is through job boards. Job boards are everywhere. They could be on their website, they could be on Indeed, they could be on places around the internet that have a marketplace, which means lots of different agencies post their jobs on one place. Nomadicare.com, my company, even has a marketplace on it. Now, we do run our marketplace quite different than others in the industry because our mission will always be honesty and transparency. So we do things better than other people for the healthcare worker. However, job boards are tricky in our industry, and I really want us as the healthcare workers to understand what their purpose is, how to use them the right way, and how to think of them in an industry like ours. So bait and switch, back to that, is when a company wants our contact details and they do something bad. They decide to either leave up a job that was really exciting but already closed because it's getting so many names. Let's say a job opens up that's paying really good money in Hawaii. They're going to get a lot more names and contact information from people that are interested in that job than the job that is average pay in Oklahoma. And so which job do they leave up? It's going to be the one that's really high pay in Hawaii. So we keep coming in. When we talk to the recruiters, when we come in, they might say, oh my gosh, it's so good to talk to you. However, that job just closed. Let's see what else we have and see if we can get you in a job. So that is a bait and switch because they intentionally left the job up, or even worse, when companies make up a job altogether, which some companies do this. Now, us as travelers, how do we know if a job is real or fake or old or new or still open? We don't, and we can't. There is no way to really know if a recruiter is bait and switching us or a recruiter is honestly telling us that the job just closed. The reason it's so hard in our industry for us to figure out if someone is being malicious and dishonest versus truthful is because our industry moves so quickly. As a travel healthcare worker, our timelines are short. From the moment that we are ready to really look for a job, we're probably 3 weeks to 6 weeks out from starting that job. That's how short of a time frame it is. So when a hospital or a facility needs a traveler, they open up a job and then submittals will start coming in usually pretty quickly, unless they are in a bad location or they're not paying good enough. And so they start getting submissions, let's say same day. And if you put yourself in the shoes of the person hiring at that hospital, they're hiring a traveler typically because they really need someone short term and they're short on time. So they're not going to spend a long, long time looking through a ton of submissions to get the most perfect person ever, because we're just there temporarily to fill in a void. So they want us to be a great clinician, but they also want this speed efficiency. So they'll probably look at the submissions that come in, the first 10, the top 10 are going to be the luckiest, and they'll find someone good in that pile and hire them. And so the rate at which jobs open and close can sometimes be same day, which is really fast. It can sometimes be within that week, which is really normal, or within a week or two, for a job that might not be as exciting. But the jobs that you might be applying for on job boards are probably similar to the same jobs that everyone is applying for on job boards. Top pay, they typically show up first on job boards. So you're like, ooh, is that a job that's over $4,000 a week? Let me apply to that one. Well, everybody else did that too. So by the time you talk to the recruiter, it's probably honest. The job is closed or it's blocked. They don't need more submissions. Or it's a great destination that opens up. All of a sudden, a job opens up in Hawaii or in San Diego, where there's not always as many jobs. Well, a lot of travelers who have already been with recruiters, they already have all of their paperwork in and ready to go. They probably told the recruiter, hey, look, if a job opens up in San Diego, just submit me right away. Don't call me, do it. And the recruiter does. So the moment it opens up, they're getting submissions. Now you who saw it on a job board and then called the recruiter, and then the recruiter said, all right, let's try, it's still open. Let's say in this scenario, it's still open. You try to get all your paperwork to them as fast as you can. They're trying to get a hold of your references. And by the end of the day, it's closed. And so even though you guys gave it a good shot, you were already behind everybody else for an exciting job. Or there's a scenario where you are a specialty that is not very in demand right now. And so the market of travelers goes up and down for every single specialty. And during different seasons, your specialty might be highly in demand, so you might make a bit more money or have a bit more options as to where you go. And then there's seasons where you might have to be a lot less picky if you do want to keep traveling, and the pay rates will be average and you have to be faster. So if your specialty is not in demand, they might all feel like bait and switch. You might feel like, geez, every time I use a job board, the job is closed. Well, that's because it really is closed and it really was open that morning or the day before. And so in these scenarios, if you're finding this happen, you might think, well, what is even the point of a job board then if they're just closed? Oh my gosh, job boards are amazing resources for us if we think of them the right way. A job board does so many things I did not have when I started traveling in this industry. One, it's almost like our own little Kelley Blue Book. We didn't have this when I started. I did not have anywhere to look to actually see what is my specialty worth in this location. Because one location versus another location, I'm worth different amounts. Hospitals pay different amounts. I didn't know how to know the average amount a person of my specialty makes in a region. And how much do they make in this area today? Because bill rates go up and down based on supply and demand. So how much I'm worth in Dallas, Texas today might be different than what I was worth in Dallas, Texas even a year ago. I needed a real-time Kelley Blue Book to open up and say, oh, look, I can see real life examples of about what I'm worth. Awesome. What a great educational tool we did not used to have. 2, where are the jobs? In general, where are the jobs? So if I'm a specialty and I'm thinking, where should I travel to next? And where should I get a license next if I don't have a compact license? Well, I need to know, where is the supply and demand? Where are the jobs? I don't want to get licensed in a state that there's not jobs. And so places like marketplaces that aggregate and have lots of companies post to one place their jobs, you can see from multiple examples, not just one recruiter from one company that you're talking to, or even 2, but dozens and dozens of companies coming together, and you can actually look around and say, look, this is where the jobs are for me. Let me make sure my dreams are aligned with the reality of where the jobs are. So if you're kind of like, look, I could go to Alaska or Washington or Arizona or Colorado right now. I don't mind. I like all of them. Then you use a job board to see, where am I most in demand? So the likelihood of me getting a job there is higher. So it helps you plan your next place to work, and it helps you plan where you should and shouldn't get licenses. So amazing. Something else I did not have when I started traveling. So we've got 2 incredible educational tools. 3, let's say I know I want to go to Portland, Maine, and that's just where I want to go. I know it. So I look on a job board and there's an opening in my specialty in Portland, Maine. I am going to click and submit to that job. Submit meaning submit my contact information to talk to that recruiter. I will know full well there is a high chance I will not get that job. However, what I will get is connected to a company that has contracts in that area for my specialty. They already have a relationship built with facilities in that area for my specialty. So if I know that's where I want to go, and even if that exact job closes, the chances of them getting more jobs in my specialty in that area is higher because they were posting jobs in that region. Because different staffing agencies sometimes specialize in different locations. And sometimes they specialize in different settings and locations. If you are a therapist and you want home health in California, I already know 100% which companies you should be with and which companies have nothing. Night and day, there are companies that have that and companies that don't. And so you've got to make sure you're with the right companies that have what you're looking for. And that goes with any specialty at all. Companies specialize in different regions and have different strategic relationships. They're not all the same, even if there is some crossover of jobs. And so by actually clicking as if you want that job, talking to the recruiter, even trying, getting all your paperwork and trying to submit to that job is great. And on the other side of it, don't get too upset with them, with the company. Don't accuse them of bait and switching if it's not overly obvious or something like that. Because you want to work with that company. You want to get your paperwork in with them as long as you liked the recruiter, you bonded. In another video, I talk about the red flags to look out for recruiters and companies. So you want to make sure you do your due diligence, that they're a good, honest, great recruiter. But if they are, great. They've got contracts where you want to go. Get yourself set up so the next time something opens up there, you get to be first to submit then, not last because you found them on a job board. Because everyone who already had paperwork in with that company, when it first opened, they get a first chance to submit because all they have to say is submit me, and they're submitted. But you, as the job board application, you have to then turn in your resume, your skills checklist, your licensure, and your references most of the time, which means they have to get a hold of your references. That's a whole lot they have to do in order for you to get submitted. You'll probably be lower in the stack, so fingers crossed you get an interview, and then to get the job, you're starting at a disadvantage. So use a job board for education. What am I worth? Where are the jobs in real time? Who should I connect to that has contracts in a region that I want to go to for my specialty? And then the real strategy is to find those 2 to 3 companies you really like that do have jobs in the region you want and already have your paperwork in and be prepared to submit. And then be a good communicator with those companies so you do hear about the jobs when they open up right away and can be top of the stack when submitting. That's really the game, speed. And so job boards help you prepare. Now, how do you pick out which job boards to use? They're all over the place. I can say at Nomadicare, with the mission I have that I care so much about for us, is honesty of the pay packages, transparency, and we change the jobs out all the time because the industry moves so fast. If I had a job board up that was even 5 days old, there would be a lot of jobs on there that are closed. So we refresh it a lot. That's a lot of work and a lot of technology goes into that, but we're dedicated to it. There are many job boards out there that are even bigger than Nomadicare's by number of jobs, but they're not accurate. And I'll look at them sometimes and I'm like, are you kidding me? You have these jobs still up. Those jobs closed 2 months ago. I feel like that's a bait and switch. It frustrates me as a travel healthcare worker because I'm like, that's not even helpful. And then knowing that the jobs that are worth the most money, that have the highest pay, you're going to be the least likely to get those because everyone's submitting to those. Scroll down a little bit, see the jobs that are a little bit under that tier, so you strategically have a better chance of getting those jobs. So that's a great way to use job boards, picking out the ones that you feel like switch it out and do things right. Pay packages are interesting on job boards. Companies, staffing agencies do not put their best pay on job boards almost ever, unless they're strategically doing it for a short period of time. The reason for that is because most staffing agencies today are set up more like a used car sales system. It's a sales system. They want the ability to have wiggle room when you come in. And a lot of that is because travelers don't understand how pay works. And travelers can get upset quickly if they're like, wait, I thought it said this. They are safer to go a little bit lower for pay. So if you need things like insurance, you're asking for a lot of money for travel reimbursement, they have more money to give you without taking it away from the pot, because so many travelers are confused that the money is all just one big pot of money that gets moved around depending on where you want it. So it's going to be a little bit lower slightly on job board. So just know you usually have a bit of room to negotiate for more money. So always feel empowered to ask for it. The worst they can do is say no, but always feel empowered to talk about money and ask about money. I strongly encourage that. And also know, if you look on different job boards, even companies' job boards, where you're saying, hey, this is this company's job board, shouldn't it be more accurate than Nomadicare's or another job board? Not necessarily. It all depends on the dedication they have to updating it and the technology they use. I'm going to tell you, in our industry, there is a word called standardization that does not exist. If you are a certain specialty, you probably know there's a lot of different ways to call you your specialty and different acronyms that are used. And that's true for all of the healthcare specialties. We're called different things, and we can be shortened names and longer names. And every hospital system or VMS that holds a bunch of jobs standardize it a different way. So when all these jobs come into the companies, you're called a bunch of different things, and they're all trying to collect the data in the middle, like the staffing agencies collecting the data from all these different places where they want jobs. They have to have technology in order to read that and switch it to all be called one thing that they want it to be called. Also, the hospitals and different places show them pay differently. They show them different pieces of pay. They have different contracts set up in different ways. Oh man, this is the worst part of shows, is when the doorbell rings and the dog goes crazy. All right, I guess I'll come back on in 1 second. All right, sorry about the puppy and the doorbell interruption. But the main point of that is that just understanding everything is very complex. The way it comes into staffing agencies, and most staffing agencies do not have technology built to present that to us as travelers in a standardized way, in a fast way, and it's quite expensive to update it and update it and update it and update it fast. So sometimes agencies just leave up jobs and say this is about the average pay in areas, and it looks like a real job. It looks like it should be a job you can apply to right there, but there's like a range that they say. And so if there's a job up on Nomadicare that says something different than the job on their job board that has a range, even if the Nomadicare one is above their entire range, the Nomadicare one would be more accurate, because we actually do have the technology to standardize it all. We actually did build the technology to make pay package estimates quickly and put them up and update, and we pull the data from their actual technology, from their actual system. It's not a human typing it in. So we have very accurate data. The only time the Nomadicare data is not accurate is when their systems data is not accurate. Maybe a hospital changed the bill rate last minute. Maybe the job says open, but it has max submittals. And when a job has max submittals, but it's still open, their technology still says the word open. So then it would be on our job board, even though technically a lot of people already applied to it. So the facility doesn't want more submissions. Little things like that might be 2% of the jobs. And then 98% of them are really accurate. And most of the time, one of the most accurate places you can go to see honest jobs that are open right now, because that's what we're up to. That's our freaking mission, right? Transparency. Let's do it right. Let's get the control back to the healthcare worker. So that hopefully helped you guys understand what bait and switch even means in our industry, how to use job boards to actually get a job and actually help you in a way that it can educate you to be empowered. And at the end of the day, hopefully live your dream and get to the place that you want to go travel to next. So again, my name is Laura Latimer, and the place to go to find me is nomadicare.com. So always feel free to hit us up there, say hello, chat with us, because we're here to empower you, to educate you, to change this industry. And one of the best ways to change the industry, beyond all the technology we're building, is education, is empowerment, is us as travelers understanding this industry. And so that is a big part of my mission. I hope you guys have an incredible day. And until next time, bye. I gotta learn. I need to have a better sign off for these shows. All right. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will talk to you next time.